Speaking of role models, have you ever heard the name Andrew Tate before?
My son is a huge fan.
You know, back in World War II and in some factions of George Orwell's book titled 1984, those who rebelled against the system, right? There's a popular saying that goes like this: the nail that sticks out gets hammered. Those who have the unmitigated gall, the nerve, to stand up and buck against the system. Back in World War II, those who were a little bit too loud in challenging the powers that be, they got executed. They lost their lives because big government wanted to send a clear message that they are not to be challenged lest you want to lose your life. And they wanted to send a clear message to, the greater society to obey or suffer the consequences. Now understand this. Prior to the 2000s, the world used to be very savage and barbaric. They would take a life without hesitation. The government had no problem in executing, the rebels, all the while putting it on the headlines in newspapers and in radio. But now, after the 2000s, the world has sort of become civilized, right? PR has never been this big. Public relations, right? We no longer live in the previous simulation, because in this current simulation, public relations is bigger than it's ever been. The government no longer just takes people and just executes them and says that, hey, if you don't want to obey, then suffer the consequences. They don't do that today because we no longer live in a savage era. PR is very huge. So what they do instead is they take a person's vice, right? And they capitalize and they take that and they spin it into a befitting story that the masses believe. So in other words, if you have an addiction, if you're a drug addict, or if you have a gambling problem, or you love women a little bit too much, right? You're addicted to coitus. They will take that and they'll try and frame that as why you got deleted, why you got silenced, right? We've had, a couple of examples not too long ago. Jeffrey Epstein Island. That man didn't kill himself. That man did not take his own life. Okay? Recently, we've had the passing of, St. Kevin Samuels, a valued member of our Manosphere Brotherhood. Now, the mainstream media articles came out and said he lost his life due to hypertension. Besides, Kevin Samuels used to, indulge in a lot of Red Bull beverages. Now, someone might argue that, hey, listen, people die on a regular basis. It's part of life, It's a coincidence. Maybe. But it's too much of a coincidence that this iconic figure on YouTube, immediately after blowing up, shortly after blowing up, he has a female accomplice in his hotel or his condo, and oops, lost his life. Anything could have happened. Anything could have been put in his drink of dear unsuspecting Kevin, and it's too much of a coincidence. That's all I'm saying. I'm not making any allegations, I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying it's too much of a coincidence. Now we have the likes of Andrew Tate, who predicted these occurrences that would happen to him. And they happened in the exact chronological order that he mentioned. At first they said they're gonna try and cancel him on all social media platforms. That happened. But it was too much of a controversial, well-known, most Googled man on the internet to be silenced. And then Andrew Tate said they would arrest him for something he didn't do. That happened. And the third thingy that he said would happen is they may try to silence him. Recently, news came out that he's suffering from terminal lung cancer. But why now? How convenient. How convenient that all these events are happening in the exact same order that he himself predicted. In the exact same order. And they're going to try and, they're going to be like, hey, listen, you see, he passed away due to terminal lung cancer. He was seen smoking cigars on a regular doing his controversial videos. So you see, it's not us, the NWO, that silenced him. He passed away on his own vices. You see, it's not us. PR. Okay? And they're going to try and spin it in the most believable fashion for the average normie NPC in the mainstream media. Because, people believe anything as long as it has the label CNN attached to it. Because people don't have time to think and decipher the truth themselves. They want to be told what to think. They want to be told what to believe. And the mainstream media caters, bias caters to just that. They're under the NWO. Okay? People believe anything as long as, it has, MSNBC, SABC News attached to it. Anything. And we're here to tell you that, hey, listen, think for yourselves. Just think for yourselves, right? We're just here to tell you that these things that are happening, it's not a coincidence, okay? The stars are aligning a little too accurately for it to be a coincidence. I fear and I hope that it doesn't come to, the third thing that, the third event that Andrew Tate mentioned. But looking at the situation, I don't see them releasing him. I don't see them releasing him. They might. I'm not sure how Romanian laws works over there. They might end up releasing him eventually because they don't have anything to stick him with. But if they do, let's say for example Andrew Tate comes out, it's gonna be the biggest headlines ever. It's gonna be, especially us in the manosphere, it's gonna be like, wow, we're gonna bring Andrew Tate in and we're gonna call him and like, hey, welcome back, man. What happened? What was it like? And we're gonna do shows with him again, and we're gonna be asking him all sorts of questions. Yo, what happened? And a lot of videos are gonna be getting amounts of attention and views. But it will be very strange. It will be a conflict of interest, by the NWO to release him. That's why I say it's highly unlikely. I hope they do, but I don't see that happening. I'm afraid they might try and silence him to send a clear message to us, the manosphere, the watchers, we who are trying to, bring truth to light. They're gonna try and scare the rest of us by making an example out of him. That's how they operate. That's what they've been doing to Trump for the past 5 years. I don't see them releasing Andrew Tate. Because, again, 2 out of the 3 predictions have come to pass. And there's only one more level that's pending. And which I hope it won't come to. But sadly, this is not an action movie, right? This is not This is not a movie, guys. I fear the worst for Andrew Tate and his brother right now. I don't have all the answers, but this is just my take for now. It looks very dark and grim. I don't see them releasing him, because if they do, the people are happy. Andrew Tate is going to continue making his videos, and that's a conflict of interest, you know, for the NWO. So they don't want that to happen. But it would be very strange if they do. I hope Andrew Tate gets released. But again, I'm saying I really do not see any hope in sight. I really don't. To be realistic. I mean, we are nearing the election cycle. Next year's presidential elections. And these are critical times. But anyway, thanks for watching this far. Let's just pray for Andrew Tate that he comes out on top, unscathed, him and his brother, and this whole thing goes away. Thanks for watching. Cheers.